Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the David Hittle Real Estate Show. It is Sunday, January 16th. It is 2 o'clock, and that means, if all goes well, that it is time for another episode of the David Hittle Real Estate Show. So I want to apologize for last week. I was feeling a little under the weather with everything going on in the world, everything going on and happening in our community. Um, I was feeling a little under the weather. I'm still getting to full recovery, but I believe that I probably sound a lot better than I did last week. And so I have returned, which is exciting. Before we get started this evening, I do want you to visit my website, shopkentuckyhomes.com. On that website, you can do everything, and I mean everything. You can search for your next home. You can get the value of your current home. You can get daily, weekly, or monthly market reports to let you know exactly what is happening in your neighborhood, all from the comfort of your own home. And all is can be found on shopkentuckyhomes.com. So we have three things that I want to cover today, and I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as possible. I don't want to hold anybody up and don't want to take up all of your day. But we are going to talk about three things today. Two ways that home buyers can win in today's market. That'll be our first topic. Our topic number two will be why inflation should not stop you from buying a home in 2022. And finally, we're going to talk about what is going to happen with home prices this this year. So, three very important topics. You will not want to miss it if you are in the real estate realm. If you're thinking about doing anything real estate related this year, you will not want to miss this show. Starting off, two ways home buyers can win in today's market. So, if your goal is to purchase a home this year, you might be looking for any advantage that you can get. Any advantage that you can get in today's seller's market. We are still in a seller's market. We have been in a home seller's market for at least the past 5 years, and we are still firmly implanted in that seller's market today. Competition for homes is still fierce, and that disadvantages home buyers. However, there are certain ways that you can win and secure the home of your dreams, even in such a hot market. So, the first of the two ways that home buyers can win in today's market is to act early and save. If you have been listening to me at all, if you have been reading my newsletters that I send out, if you're on my database, if you're in my client database, in my list, you received that email this afternoon at noon. But mortgage interest rates are skyrocketing. They are going up faster than I think any of the predictions had thought. Last week, actually, let's go 2 weeks ago, the very first week of January, we had mortgage interest rates at 3.11%. The very next week, they had increased to 3.22%. This week, you are looking at 3.45%. These mortgage interest rates are skyrocketing. They're jumping faster than I believe any of the experts predicted. And that is going to have a significant impact on home buyers. it means that you will pay a lot more in interest this year than you would have ever thought about paying last year. It may disadvantage a lot of home buyers. The predictions were that mortgage interest would rise as we move deeper into 2022. The experts were expecting a 3.5% mortgage interest rate by year's end. We're almost there now. 3.45 is only a 0.5% off of the three uh, only a 50th of a percent, a 500th of a percent off of the 3.5 that is projected by year's end. So that to me says that the prediction of 3.5 may be low. It may actually wind up being a 3.75, maybe even a 4.0, depending on how our government and how the economy is reacting to everything that's going on. The Federal Reserve is starting to think about increasing interest rates because of inflation. Well, the inflation is causing the prices of homes to increase because of the price of materials, because of the price of labor, because of the price of everything. Everything is going up in price. And now the Federal Reserve is stepping in and saying, well, we're going to increase interest rates in order to combat inflation. It might combat inflation. I doubt it, but it's definitely going to have an impact on the housing market and who can actually afford to buy a home this year because mortgage interest rates may be insane. They may go way high this year, and that's going to be devastating for the housing market and individuals who are looking to buy a home. So what this means is that the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost you to buy a home. Instead, you should act early and purchase your home before rates and prices rise further. Not to mention, the sooner you buy, the sooner you can experience the benefits of continued home price appreciation yourself. Once you have your home, you'll be able to watch its value rise, giving you confidence that your investment is a sound one. So the other option, the other way that home buyers can take advantage of this market is to buy now and move later. Keep in mind that with high buyer demand, like we're seeing today, you'll be competing against other potential home buyers, which means you need to find a way to stand out. One way to accomplish this is to negotiate with the sellers and present terms that meet their ideal needs. Daniel Hale, the chief economist for Realtor.com, explained it this way that for buyers with more flexible timelines, such as those making a move from a big city, offering a couple extra months on the closing date could sweeten the deal for sellers who also need to find and to buy their next home. So, in other words, if you are eager to purchase a home now, before it becomes more costly and you don't have to move right away, you could extend the date of your closing and provide the seller with the time they need to find their next home. That's a deal that could benefit both parties and help you stand out from the crowd. Of course, it's always important to work with your real estate professional to get the expert advice on how to make that offer the best. Your trusted advisor will know what's working in your market and what may appeal to sellers. So, the bottom line in all this is this: experts are projecting that home prices and home mortgage interest rates will increase in 2022. And that means that buyers who are ready should act soon and find ways to strengthen their offer to meet sellers' needs. So, what you should do, if that is you, is connect with me today so that we can learn how you can win in today's market. And it's very important to have all your facts and all your figures, do all your research on your realtor and on what they can do for you before you hire them. You can visit my website, shopkentuckyhomes.com, and you can do research on me. You can find out what I have to offer on my website. I try and I strive to educate and to provide as much knowledge as I can to my clients so that they know they are making the best decision possible. I don't pressure my clients. I only give them the facts and show them what they need to know before making that move. So visit my website, shopkentuckyhomes.com today, and learn all you need to know about today's market. So, the second thing we were going to talk about today is why inflation shouldn't stop you from buying a home in 2022. So, if you've been following along with the news of today, you're probably hearing a lot about record breaking home prices, rising consumer costs, supply chain constraints, and more. As they always say, if it bleeds, it leads. So if you're watching the news, you know it's going to be highly partisan and driven towards scaring the ever loving poo out of you. That's just the way the media is. So if you are thinking about purchasing a home this year, all of these concerns are likely making you wonder if you should wait to buy. Investopedia explains that during a period of high inflation, like we are seeing today, prices will rise across the board. And while home prices are not immune from this increase, here's why inflation should not stop you from buying a home in 2022. For one, home ownership offers stability and security. Those are two very important things to think about when you're thinking about purchasing a home. When you own your home, you have stability in your payments. Unlike rent, which normally goes up every 6 months or every year, your mortgage does not rise or fall depending on market conditions or what the landlord wants to charge you or what the bank wants to charge you this year. Home your mortgage stays relatively even throughout the course of your mortgage. And security knowing that there's not a landlord that can say, we need you out of the apartment or we need you out of the house. You have stability and security in home ownership. So, as a buyer, how you can protect yourself from rising costs for things like food, shelter, entertainment, and goods and services, the answer lies in housing. Buying a home allows you to lock in your monthly mortgage payment for the foreseeable future. That means that as other prices rise, your mortgage payment will be consistent thanks to a fixed rate mortgage. And this can give you the peace of mind that the bulk of your housing costs are going to be shielded from inflation. James Royal, the senior wealth reporter at Bankrate, says that a fixed rate mortgage allows you to maintain the biggest portion of housing expenses at the same payment. Sure, your property taxes will rise and other expenses may creep up, but your monthly housing payment remains the same. If you rent, you don't have that same benefit and you are not protected from rising housing costs. As an added incentive to buy, consider that today's mortgage interest rates are lower than they have been in decades. And even with them going up like they have this month, mortgage interest rates are still at historic lows. While inflation will decrease what your dollar can buy, low mortgage rates help to counteract it by boosting your purchasing power so you can get more home for your money. They also help keep your mortgage, your monthly payments down. And this is especially important during an inflationary period because you'll want to protect yourself from the impact of inflation as much as possible. Ali Wolf, the chief economist at Zonda, put it this way: if you have cash and are expecting inflation, you want to think through where you can put your money so that it does not lose value. Housing is commonly looked at as a good inflation hedge, especially with interest rates so low. So, the bottom line in this is that the best hedge against inflation is a fixed housing cost. That's why you shouldn't let it stop you from buying a home this year. Not sure where to start? You should connect with your realtor to get the expert advice and help throughout every step of the home buying process. And you can connect with David Hittle with United Real Estate Louisville by going to his website, shopkentuckyhomes.com, and you can connect with him. You can do a lot of activities and a lot of things on the website that you can't do on most other websites. Visit shopkentuckyhomes.com today and see for yourself why David Hittle with United Real Estate Louisville is the best realtor for you. Finally, this evening, before I let you all go, what's going to happen with home prices this year? So, for almost 2 years now, we have seen double digit increases in home price appreciation. This means 10% or higher appreciation in home prices. Looking back at 2021, in January, we saw a 10% year over year price increase in housing nationwide. By June, that had increased to 17.2% year over year. So from June of 2021 over June of 2020. And by November, it had reached 18.1%. Now, predictions are that home price appreciation is going to flatten out in 2022. So we're not predicting that home prices are going to start to fall, but they are not going to increase at the same velocity that they had last year. The FHFA price index is showing a slight deceleration from the same time last year. It's just not at the level that was expected. So the FHFA reports that all 9 regions of the country still experienced double digit appreciation last year, but that this year it will start to slow down. We may not see double digit appreciation this year like we did last year. Experts had projected that the supply of housing inventory would increase in the last half of 2021 and that buyer demand would decrease as it historically does in later in the year. However, buyer demand did not slow as much as expected, and the number of listings available for sale actually dropped instead of improving. So, looking at the chart in January of 2021, there were 600,000 active listings on the market. By June, that had actually dropped to only 549,000. And by December, it had dropped to 483,000 active listings on the market nationwide. Here are 3 reasons why the number of active listings didn't increase as expected. There wasn't a surge in foreclosures. Like all the experts were thinking there was going to be a wave of foreclosures. That did not occur. New construction slowed considerably because of the supply chain issues. And finally, many believed that more sellers would put their houses on the market once the concerns about the pandemic began to ease. However, those concerns have not yet disappeared. And we're now going into year two of a pandemic that we expected to last less than a month. A recent article was published that said before the Omicron variant of COVID 19 appeared on the scene, the 2021 housing market was rebounding healthily from previous waves of the pandemic and turned and downright bullish as the year end approached. And then the new Omicron strain hit in November, followed by a December dip in new listings. Was this sudden drop due to Omicron or just the typical holiday season lull? No one knows for sure, but it does seem possible. So the bottom line in all this is that home price appreciation might slow or decelerate in 2022. However, based on supply and demand, you should not expect the deceleration to be swift or deep. So, in other words, home prices are still going to keep going up, maybe just at a slower pace. But right now, if you are looking to buy or sell a home, the main worry that I see coming down the pike in 2022 is the mortgage interest rates. The mortgage interest rates are going to be a big deciding factor on how much home someone is going to be able to afford. As mortgage interest rates go up, your home mortgage will go up too. So, what we need to see for 2022 is a lowering of these mortgage interest rates. We need the Federal Reserve to stop throwing spaghetti at the cabinet and seeing what sticks. We need them to stop making these mortgage interest rates skyrocket like they are. Because if they continue, we may actually see 4 or 5% mortgage interest rates, and that would be devastating to home buyers. It would make home affordability a lot less affordable. So, everyone, I hope that you were educated by this show this evening. I hope that you will visit my website, shopkentuckyhomes.com. And I hope that you will continue to evaluate the market, continue to figure out what is going on. And if you ever have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. This is David Hittle with United Real Estate Louisville. I thank you all for watching the show today. Please visit my website, shopkentuckyhomes.com. And until next week, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Everything is moving rather quickly, so you'll want to ask your questions as quickly as possible as well. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next week. Have a great day.